Hi everyone, this is Rhonda and Laurie, and today we are going to be doing a quick video to demonstrate the new functionality in GoHealth for chart workflows. This is a really nice feature that will allow agencies to set up a customized view of the chart based upon different criteria. And your system was delivered to you with your existing default workflow for your agency. And if you have a URC or a crisis unit, there was also one that was set up for your crisis unit. But now that you've been using the different workflows and your staff are getting used to it, it's now time to, as leaders, to sit down and determine how this can best be utilized for your agency. Some of the applications that we've already talked to several end users that they may be doing is setting up a workflow for new hires. So you could actually set up a workflow that would only show forms or things that someone would need to be trained on without accessing all the forms in someone's chart. As you know, another idea would be to set up a workflow for an adult or for a child. And like I mentioned, the URC or the crisis unit. Rhonda, do you want to speak to any of that?
Well, I think once we get into the video, we'll definitely show how to set those up specific to those specific age ranges. But one example would be if your agency has a crisis unit that is specific for adults versus one that's also geared toward children.
So basically, what I would be seeing if I logged in and we had set one up for a child, I wouldn't see any of the forms that are only for that were for adults. We could limit that to just seeing forms that were related just to a child. We could set it up that way.
We could default to that workflow, yes.
And so in other words, when I open up this person's chart, if they are a child and the GoHealth is going to go look at what their age is, it's going to automatically default me to that child's workflow.
That's correct.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and look at Bart Simpson. He's one of our test clients that is set up currently as a child.
Okay.
When I go into Bart's chart, you'll see here that it defaults automatically to the outpatient child workflow.
And if it's set up that way and I need to maybe look at a different workflow, I still have access to the other workflow.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. The workflows are still available within the dropdown, but it does default according to the hierarchy that's set on the specific workflow.
And right now we have the hierarchy is that it can default on age, or it could default
on admission type.
On admission type.
Right.
Oh, so if someone has an admission type for crisis, then that's what they would see.
Correct.
The crisis chart. Okay.
Correct. And actually, admission type is the first set up in the hierarchy. So it will look at admission type first, and then it will look at the age.
And it's my understanding that more development is coming, that we will be able to have other criteria that GoHealth would look at and would default to that particular workflow.
Correct.
It might be an admission type. It might be a guarantor or something like that.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. So let's talk about what we would need to do if I'm a system admin, and I've discussed this with my leadership team, and we have determined that we want to create a brand new workflow. Let's just call it XYZ.
Okay.
And how would I go about doing that?
All right, so the first thing that you would do as a system admin is navigate over to Tools and Reports.
Okay.
At the left of your sidebar. Then you would want to find Chart Workflow, and I'm going to use our handy search feature here, and it pulls up Chart Workflow for us as an option. So we'll open this module, and the first thing that you'll see is that you can select configurations. And so in this drop-down, you'll see all of the existing configurations that are currently set up for your agency. And you'll see that we have several different types here. As you noticed when we were in Bart's chart earlier, it automatically defaulted to the outpatient child configuration. And this is where we were talking about the hierarchy that we've talked about. This specific workflow is first looking at the admission type. So if the client is outpatient, then it's going to look and find that specific one and then look at the age range for 0 to 17. So you'll see the minimum age is set to 0, The maximum age is 17, and I believe Bart in this test system is a 6-year-old.
Okay.
And so, and he's also in the outpatient admission type, and so it's going to default to that specific workflow
Okay.
for this client.
So if I had, let's just say that we had in our drop down over there that we have the adult crisis,
Mhm.
and we wanted to set up a CSU child.
Okay, that's a great question. So the beauty of this specific module is that you can copy an existing workflow setup.
Oh,
So
some of
yes.
the work's already been done.
Yeah,
for
the
you.
work's already been done for you. So you can see that for this specific CSU adult workflow, the selected forms are already laid out. All of your tabs are already laid out for you. And so say if your agency does begin to do crisis unit services for children, you could very quickly come to the configuration drop down and hit add new configuration. And what will happen is, because I'm already on the existing CSU adult, once I hit add new configuration, I'm going to name this workflow, and we'll just go ahead and do this one as CSU child and hit OK. It will copy the existing CSU adult and make a new one called CSU child. So when I go to CSU child, it will have the exact same configuration as the CSU adult.
So now all I would need to do is just remove things or add things.
That's correct. Yes,
Okay.
that's correct. That's correct. So say for your CSU child setting, maybe all of the tabs are the same, but maybe you want to, remove a few forms and add a few other forms that would be specific to treating children
So
in this setting.
How do I remove a form?
So if you wanted to remove a form, we'll just go ahead and do the Columbia Inn right here. All you have to do in this instance is click on it and deselect it.
So turn it dark blue.
Yeah, turn it dark blue.
Okay.
You can use this view selected forms to actually see what will now show in your workflow setup.
Okay.
So for that specific screening tab, this will be the forms that actually show on that tab.
Okay, and if I wanted to maybe change the order,
Mhm.
I could. What would I do?
All you would need to do at this point is just drag and drop.
Wow.
So
that's a lot different than it used to be.
Yes, it's very different
Yeah.
and it's so user friendly.
Mhm.
So you'll see here that I wanted to put our PHQ9 at the very end of the setup, and so I just simply drag it. Mhm.
Okay.
Just drag it to the end.
And what if I wanted to rename one of my tabs?
If you want to rename your tab, it's very, very simple. So we will come here and click on the tab, double click on the tab, excuse me, and then you would just put in the new name. So this was currently named screenings. So maybe we want to name it screening tools and click OK.
Wow. And then what if I want to move the order of my tabs themselves around?
Oh, that's so simple. So your drag and drop is your friend again. So if we wanted to move, say, screening tools before admission, that's all you would need to do.
And that's what it's going to display on the chart?
Wow. It will
Wow.
display exactly this way.
Okay.
Yeah. So you do want to remember, if you're in a chart, please exit the chart, once you've made your workflow changes, and go back in so that the screen can refresh and you'll see the new changes that you've made.
Okay. And then if I wanted to delete a tab?
Oh, that's so very easy. You can double click again, just like we said, to rename it. You can also do that to remove it. So once you double click, if you enter delete in here and hit OK, it will do that.
Okay.
It will do that. So on this specific setup, I'll go ahead and just show you on the discharge tab. We'll just use it as an example. I'm going to double click here, hit delete, and click OK. And you'll see that it's gone.
So even let's just say that an agency doesn't necessarily want to create a new workflow, but they want to edit existing ones. They can easily come in, modify, add forms, move forms.
Yes.
And drag and drop them over.
Mhm.
Whatever you just showed me, I could do that on an existing workflow.
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct. That's
Okay.
correct. All right. So the other thing that we need to talk about is the view uploads. So you'll see here that our tab to the left is highlighted on view forms. And as we talked about, you can go through here and just quickly see for each tab all of the forms that are currently selected to show on that tab. And again, if you want to add, you would just hit view all forms, and you'll see the full list of all of the forms that are available to add to that tab.
And again, I can have multiple forms show up
Yes.
on different tabs.
Yes.
The same one.
That is
Okay.
very correct. That is
Okay.
correct. And a good example of that is maybe, I don't know, maybe you need a 23 CDC both on your admission tab and say your pre-admission tab. So we would go and just select our 23 here and then select our 23 CDC here. Oh, actually that one's already there. Let's put it on screening tools. And then we'll go back to our pre-admission and you'll see that the 23 is there and the 23 is now on the screening tools.
Okay, that's great.
Okay, all right. So let's go ahead. So we've talked about adding, we've talked about tabs. You know, one thing that we do need to mention is adding a new tab.
That's true.
So say you have a workflow, and this could be an existing workflow or it could be a brand new workflow. But within this workflow, you need to add a new tab. You would simply click Add Tab here, name. So we'll go ahead and name this one XYZ and click OK. And you'll see that now a new tab is located at the end of your configuration.
That's great.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just move XYZ to second to the last, and then I'm going to select my forms. So maybe I need some CDCs on this, maybe some questionnaires, just a couple of things, an alert log, and that's all the forms that I need for this specific tab. If I come to view selected forms, that's where I'll see the actual arrangement and the specific forms for that tab.
Okay, that's great. Super easy.
Yep, super easy. And this is where once I'm in view all forms, or actually view selected forms, that's where I can do my drag and drop to reorder them.
Okay.
Okay, and then view all forms will take me back to that view as well. Now, if I want to view the uploads that are available or attached to the specific tabs, you would come over to the View Upload tab on the left, and that's going to show you all of the different categories that are on each specific tab currently. Now, this is a brand new configuration, so we haven't set up any uploads. But if we went to one of our, say, outpatient adult, you would see that for the intake tab, I already have the intake category attached to that tab, and so on. You can see that all of most of these already have them attached. So let's go back to our CSU child, and we'll start adding some categories, some upload categories. So for this, we'll say we'll go ahead and go to admission, and maybe for the admission tab, we may need some screenings, or let's actually go to screening tools. And all you need to do at this point is click on the actual category, and it's going to ask if you want to group these files.
Okay.
Do you understand what that means?
I believe I do, yes.
Okay. So group these files basically says for the uploaded documents that are going under this category, do we want to see them in just basically a single icon per uploaded document, or do we want to group them in their own folder under this tab?
Okay. So give me an example of, let's just say we are uploading all the insurance information, driver's license, Blue Cross Blue Shield card, income verification, all that kind of stuff. I could opt to have all of those grouped together in one file. In one document folder. Correct. So if we select yes here, what you'll see is that that specific category will have it kind of looks like a stack of papers here, but that shows that this specific category is grouped together. Okay, that makes sense.
So when you're in the client's chart and you go to this specific tab, the Screening Tools tab, any uploaded document will show in one screenings document folder. Okay.
Which is going to help clean up the charts.
Yes.
Because a lot of now that people have been using GoHealth for a couple of years, some of the miscellaneous tab items was getting very overloaded.
Yes, very overloaded.
Yes.
Many documents are there. So now this just gives you the option of grouping all of those together, and it keeps your view much cleaner. On the tab, which is a wonderful tool. If we want to deselect this one, of course, we would just click on it. If I did not want to set this up as a group, once I selected it, I would just say, do not group these files.
And they'll all be individual.
Yeah, and they'll all be individuals. Okay. All right. Any questions about the upload categories, adding them to tabs?
No, that makes perfect sense.
All right. And just so you know, say you're a system admin and maybe you make a mistake, or you're just kind of in here testing, and you created a category that needed to be deleted. You would simply come over here, have your configuration or your workflow selected, and you can delete using this option. You can also rename using this tab to the left.
Okay.
If you wanted to rename, let's just call this CSU Kids and click OK, and you'll see it changes your configuration name. If we want to delete, again, you would simply type delete in your input field and click OK. And it would delete that specific configuration from your workflows.
Okay, I think we've covered everything for chart workflow. And as always, if you have any questions, let us know. We hope you enjoyed this video.
All right, thank you very much. Have a great day.